Hello, and welcome to Making Sales Social. I'm so excited about today's topic. Stan, great to see you here today.
Yes, you too. Looking forward to talking about AI for sales.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. And we're going to really we're going to start with like kind of the prompt writing framework. But there are some sales folks that have completely embraced AI
Yeah.
and really leveraging it well. Then there are some sales folks that are using AI for shortcuts, not
Mhm.
necessarily using it well yet. And those are the people I think we're going to help a lot today. And then there are the folks that are not using AI at all yet, probably because they're afraid of losing their voice or really ultimately coming across as AI. So we're going to talk about how to overcome a lot of that today, but let's start with the crispy framework. Stan, you, Bob, and I really worked um, extremely meticulously to launch our book. I think you have a copy. I see one in the corner over there showing up.
Yeah, that one may actually have the letters the right way, but that was
Yeah. So
made
we have
easy.
the prompt writing made easy. It's our crispy framework to really. It's a framework that helps salespeople really show up with their voice and not sounding AI and with their intent. So I'm going to quickly, not so quickly, go through kind of what Crispy is. And then I'm going to throw it to you, Stan, for ideas of where salespeople should be applying this. So the Crispy framework is simply this. It's an acronym. We love our acronyms here at Social Sales Link. So context. Context is, what am I looking to achieve? What is the end product? Ultimately, what is my goal? It might be a blog post. It might be an ebook. It could be an RFP, answering an RFP, a request for proposal. It could be putting together putting together a proposal, right? The context is, what do I want at the end of this prompt? And the more detailed you are, the more you envision this, the the closer your output will be to what you are looking to achieve. So that's context. The next one is role. Who do you want the AI to be? So often, if I am writing a piece of content, I want to hone in on some really great frameworks. Like I might say, you are Donald Miller from StoryBrand, and I have hired you to help me write this, whatever that is. Now, notice I say I have hired you to help me do this. I don't want it in Donald's voice, but I want Donald's brilliance.
Mhm.
So there are sometimes where I'm really looking for an emotional connection and I'll say, you're Brene Brown. Or maybe I'm looking for something to help me detach from the result and I'll say, you're Mel Robbins, right? So who is our influence in this? Sometimes it might just be, you are a sales expert. You are a sales leader who has managed successfully thousands of salespeople to hit their goal and go to President's Club, right? Like all those things are the roles. So AI doesn't have to be a specific person, but it might be general. So really important there. So that is the role. Now, inspiration, this for me, and Stan, you may have a little bit of a different slant on this. Inspiration is, how do I want my consumer of this content to feel after they have
Mhm.
consumed the content? Like what, sometimes I want it to be, I want them to feel inspired to take the next step. I want them to get really excited again about solving this problem. But you could also have inspiration around, I want, I mean, there's so many other ways to go. That's the way I focus. I don't know, Stan, do you have a different slant on inspiration?
Yeah, inspiration is kind of the most flexible one, depending on how you want to take it. You may want someone to simply become more informed about something so they feel more confident about moving to the next step or making a decision. So, yeah, that's the one where the most creativity kind of comes into play.
Yeah, I really love this. And ultimately, it's the inspiration. It can be what you want AI to do from an inspiration perspective, or what you want your user to feel, your end consumer of the content. The next one is scope. And over the last year and a half or so, scope has really become a huge piece of my prompt writing. And ultimately, this is the structure of the piece. I want it to be between 1,200 and 1,500 words. I want it to have a search engine optimized title hook that's 60 characters or less. I want it to have, 5 sections, each with a deep paragraph on the topic and then bullet points. And then each section I want to have a takeaway. And then I want to have a call to action like this, right? So that's the scope. The scope really is the 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 structure of the content. Right? Would you add to that at all?
Structure, framework, that's kind of the way I think about it, or how you want it presented.
Oh, I like that. If you have a framework, that's perfect. That is a perfect way to think about framework is a really good way to think about scope as well. So that's great. All right. The next one is prohibitions. And this is where I think most people have a gap in not using prohibitions. So this is everything we don't want AI to say or do. This is where I will often have do not use words like foster, or don't use M dashes. Now I have do not segment sentences, because now they do a lot of segmented sentences, and do not use not this but that framework, because everything is, it's not just this, it's that. And it just screams AI. And it's funny, I don't even open newsletters or emails that start that way. So I find myself filtering the ones that are obviously AI. So every time I come across something that I go, oof, that was AI, I now add that to my prohibitions to not do. So my prohibitions have become an exceptionally long list. One thing, I don't use the word clarity a lot. I love the word clarity, but it wants to put clarity in everything I do. But it's really not a word that we use. So I say don't use clarity unless I ask you to.
Okay.
So things like that. And I think that's where prohibitions come in. Are there any prohibitions that you use that I didn't mention?
No, not any ones that specifically foster, like you said, M dashes.
Oh, there's another one I use, which is do not research unless I ask you to. So that's enough. So there are times where I want research, but most of the time I don't. I want them to stay in my voice. Yeah, if you come up with any other prohibitions, I'm sure there are hundreds that we're not thinking of right now.
Yeah, but that's one of the things most people don't think to do, is to use prohibitions as part of their prompts.
Yeah.
That was one of the most useful things when we came up with the Crispy framework. I said, oh, prohibitions, okay.
That was a Bob thing, by the way. I want to give him credit in that. That was a huge piece of his perspective on this very early on. So
Yes.
He's not here today, but shout out to Bob Woods. Yeah, I mean, he really he got us started on this framework. So we'll give him that the kudos to that for sure. So the last one is you. And this is, I think, the most important piece. This is, you could do a couple things. You can say, ask me all the questions you need to complete this task in my voice, one at a time. Or you can say, ask me these questions. So sometimes my crispy framework, so let's say I want to do, I'm writing a prompt for a comment for a post. I do not want it to just write a comment. So the first question in you is, what stood out to you most about this post? Right. And so it forces me to go back and actually read it to give my own insight. A lot of times when we're writing content, the first question is, ask me to upload the transcript. If in fact we're using a transcript for content. So the you is really the questions that will lead back to your voice.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
more around that, Stan, you, Dad?
Just that one is one that's brilliant. I remember we started with crisp and then we decided to add you because you figured, you being you, Bryn, figured out how to uh, get it to speak in your voice as a result of interviewing you and asking you the questions so that it kind of better understands how you spoke or speak. And we'll talk about that shortly when we start talking about using transcripts and that sort of thing to train it.
Yeah, so I love that. I love that. Yeah, well, I'm gonna, let's throw it to you. What are some ways salespeople should be using this type of prompting?
To help with their thinking and messaging. One of the downsides of AI is that it lets you push the easy button way too often. And at least for me, I have to consciously remember, okay, I want to start with my thoughts. I want to ask AI to push back on me.
Mm.
And then I also want to push back on AI. So whatever it gives me, you can say, well, I want to emphasize another angle of this. Or how can you make this better, believe it or not? And it will do it. So helping you with your thinking, not doing the thinking for you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You also said something that I think is so powerful, which is the pushback, right? This is a conversation, a two-way conversation. And I named my chat GPT, my Gemini is a different name actually, but my chat GPT is Bubba. So I actually say, I look at Bubba like an intern that I hired to help me with this. So that pushback, I think, is a really powerful visual. Like, just because they said it doesn't mean it's so, right? And so, maybe it writes it and it's 80% there. And you say, what? I like this, I hate this.
Mm.
Here's the other thing that I love is you can't hurt its feelings. So I don't have to put on my filter. I'm a Jersey girl. I have very little filter. Right? So I have to like consciously filter, but I don't have to filter anymore. I can say I hate this without hurting its feelings.
Feelings.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
And it's
Look,
infinitely patient. So you can go back and forth as long as you want, and it'll never run out of patience with you.
Stan, that's what I say about you as a coach. I think you are infinitely patient. I have never met a coach that is so patient and so fabulous with folks in their journey. So,
Yeah.
you and AI, infinitely patient.
Yes, thank you. I try to
Okay.
never forget what it feels like to learn something for the first time. So that
That's
helps.
what makes you such a phenomenal coach. Really, I'm just going to say, like, the best coach I know. Just absolutely amazing because you think that way. So I know that was off script, but we'll come back. So, what's another way salespeople should be really using
So
AI?
we talked a little bit about thinking and messaging. Research is a huge one in so many different areas. Those who have Sales Navigator should have tried account IQ and lead IQ because Sales Navigator now has that AI embedded into the platform, so it's doing research for you and trying to surface data that you would never find on your own, or it would take you so long that it just wouldn't be worth it. If you're not using Sales Navigator, though, these tools can do phenomenal research on markets, on industries, on companies, even on individuals. Now, this is kind of a side note, but I remember telling people you should Google yourself and see what comes back. Now, I suggest run a search on you in AI, in your favorite chat model, and see what comes back.
Oh my gosh, I haven't done that.
Yeah, I hadn't done it, and it came up in conversation with someone. I said, I haven't done that, and so I need to.
So I'm thinking you should log out of yourself or do it in an incognito window.
Yeah, that's something in terms of how to do that in the equivalent of an incognito window with um, an LLM.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know, maybe sign up for a free one just to give it a shot. Like
exactly.
with another, like a personal email or something. Because I know, like when you're on Google, because there's a lot of local search, everybody's Google searches are different based on where they sit.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do an incognito Google search when I'm looking for certain things, when I'm looking to see how things show up. So maybe there needs, yeah, but I love that. I don't know why we haven't been talking about that. We need to start talking about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, or have someone else do it for you. I think I first got the idea because someone did a search on me using Microsoft Copilot and then said, "How does this look?" And
So
I
that's great because it's an outside person doing that. Yeah, I love that. Ooh, that's part of an AI. We do AI parties. Maybe we do an AI party adding that in before we do anything else. I love that. And then do it in Gemini and Copilot and ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude.
see.
And I'm sure there's 50 other ones out there. Notebook LM, what's that telling you? Um, so, all right. So I love that. Are there others? Anything else that you would add to how salespeople should be using AI?
The one other that comes to mind is role play, because you can ask the AI to assume any role that you want. So if you're preparing for a discovery call or a sales conversation or a negotiation, you can ask it, hey, assume the role of a CFO who's super budget conscious. Assume the role of a chief marketing officer who's concerned about brand. Um, Assume the role of a great negotiator who's looking at your top two competitors as well as you, and then chat with it. And of course, you can either do it via text or you can talk to it using the advanced voice mode and have a role play a conversation to help you get ready for a sales conversation.
That's great. I love that. And I think you add in the LinkedIn profile of the person you're going to be talking to, add in the website of the company, um, put in any transcripts of conversations you've already had. Maybe you do it in Notebook LM and use that. And, so feed it everything that you possibly can to help that role play be as accurate as it possibly could be. I love that. I don't do that either. Well, I am using Brin.ai for some of that right now, but that's only me, or there are other experts that I've used on that platform, on the Fuel platform. But I love that in getting ready for a conversation. It just kind of had all kinds of things happening. Um, I I want to throw out, maybe this is the last one for now, is using it for pre-call planning.
Mm-hmm.
So I have found, and it's kind of like what we just did, right? That's what I upload the URL, all the transcripts, so everything I just said for the coaching, which I haven't asked it to coach, I use all of that for pre-call planning. But here's the thing that I've started to do. We use Sybil.ai for our note taker. People at Fathom or even Zoom has their own. but I take the transcripts right from our AI note taker and I add them all. So every single one of my clients now has all of every conversation is in there, every proposal I've put out there, every piece of if I did a deck for them, if I did a training for them, will the transcripts go up? And they're date stamped. So I can say, what's the next step? So sometimes I go, oh my gosh, I have a call with Mark in 10 minutes. Where did we leave this off? I can jump in now to that project. I was doing it in ChatGPT. Now I'm moving it into Notebook LM. And I can say, what are the next steps? What did I need to bring to the table? What are his next steps? And so it will, in real time, help you prep for a call, whether it's your first call with someone or your 30th call with someone. That pre-call planning is huge.
It's huge. Yeah. Yeah. So that highlights the importance of context, which is the first thing that you led off with. So if you want AI to speak, write, whatever in your voice, give it context about yourself in the sense of, even if you're talking about a topic, record yourself, upload that transcript so it has your voice. As Bryn, you were just talking about, when you're reaching out to people doing pre-call planning, give it as much context as you can about the people that you're going to be interacting with.
I love this. Well, our time goes so fast, my friend. Any last thoughts on the ultimate guide to prompt writing?
Just do it, practice it, so you can see what kind of output you get. Because the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get, the better you will get at it. And you'll be able to let these tools help you and work for you.
It's awesome. Well, guys, I hope you found this episode as much fun as I did. Oh, Stan, I have so much fun with you. Anyway, so for those of you, we are live every Monday at 12:30 Eastern. So those of you that are listening on the podcast, it's something one of our listeners said, you never talk about when you're live. So now if you're listening on podcast, we are live every Monday at 12:30 Eastern. Unless there's some big holiday, even though today is a little holiday, but an important one, President's Day. For us that are, as we are recording on that day, or we are live. But come visit us. We also have crazy amount of complimentary events at socialsaleslink.com/events. We have webinars, we have coaching where you can come and bring your real deals and your real situations, and we can help you with that. And we just would love for you to be part of our community. Totally. Most of our events are free. We have a free membership, socialsaleslink.com/membership. We definitely have premium ones, but the free, you get a lot in the free. So we hope you join there. And when you're out and about, don't forget to make your sales
social.
Bye, guys.